Welcome to In This Season podcast, where we unpack the most empowering conversations, have exclusive and inspirational interviews, and host special events. Join Tammy, some call her Butterfly, and explore life's purpose by learning how to embrace
Big Mike, listening on my wife's phone while I charge my phone up. This is Big Mike in the house. So welcome,
Good
welcome,
morning.
welcome. Those are our repeat people all day, every day. All
That's what I'm
right.
talking
So
about. That consistency, man. We gotta honor y'all in some way because I really appreciate the day ones and then the day 200 and whatever we on now. The people that are being consistent this entire time. And thank y'all so much. It means a lot. Whether you're family or whether you're a friend or an associate or somebody that we don't know. Thank you so much for joining us every single morning and letting us be a part of your routine. We appreciate it.
all right. So what I'm gonna do, got cousin Marco in the house, man. I know I was supposed to call you last night. I was bummed out. I'm just tired. But after the show, call me. If you listen through the show, well, give me about 20 minutes and then call me because I'll be getting on the road. But welcome. Thank you for joining us. Let me get some stuff out here. All right. Brandon, are you ready on that side?
Yep, already.
All right. So if we're going to get Instagram, excuse me, you guys, on, and then we're going to get on with it. We're going to try to have this done before you guys because we just got to do better with this one. All right. Back over to you, Brandon, with the Instagram.
Awesome,
Let's
awesome,
rock with
awesome.
it.
Let's do it. I think it is. I think because Instagram cuts off in an hour, we want to get it started right at the time. But you know what we could do? We could start it a few minutes before and just end it 30 minutes to 45 minutes and just get off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's. I've been thinking about that as well. We do have to do better, just because 30, 45 minutes tops for you, for me, for our listeners as well. It's work day, so it's easy to talk about what we talk about. We can go long because, and I love the fact that we want to, but especially as of late, I know my life's been a little bit all over the place, busy. Thankful for that. But in that, we have to be intentional and mindful of not just our time, your time as well. So I agree.
Suffering from success.
Yeah, suffering from success.
Yeah. Thank y'all for
So
joining us. We got Instagram up and live. So to the Instagram folks that are waiting to join in, welcome, welcome, welcome to the In This Season podcast. What day we on, Mom?
good question. I believe it is 209, y'all. And I should know this because I did the things. Let me tell y'all. Hold on. Just 1 minute. 208. 208.
208. 208 days of the In the Season podcast. Thank you for joining us, whether it's your first time or if you've been here every time. We have been going through the book Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro. Please go and get that book. It is a great book. Again, Daily Motivations for African American Success. This is what it looks like. You can see that right there. This man right there is the author. It was published in 1992 and still applies to this day. So thank y'all for rocking with us. And for those who have the book, thank you for getting it, supporting a Black author, and for reading along and doing that extra step that, you technically don't have to do. Nobody's holding your feet to the fire. But if you want, motivations for success, and if you're real about, your success, if you're real about your journey, if you're real about developing yourself, your personal development, then that is evidence of that. So thank y'all so much. I see down there. Okay. I saw two little, after 208, there's two little things, but I was just looking at it. Thought I was seeing doubles for a second, but that's just a little clerical thing. Y'all, thank
Boy,
y'all
you
for
better
joining us.
move on.
I know. I'm just saying. I looked and I was like, man, I
I
must be
was so
really
tired when I
tired.
did this last night.
I must be
You
tired.
better move on. You might see a lot of stuff today because I was bummed yesterday. Well, last night I was.
Well, I'm glad
Had a
you're
lot.
here, looking good and fresh
I was
and
bummed.
refreshed.
I had my mama, and then I had my one of my spiritual mamas, Miss Mima. She came over, so it was so fun. I was like, "Look, I done dealt with one of my mamas for 24 hours. I'm gonna need you to bring it down today."
I
So, but it was
need to
all
call her
good.
too. But
Yeah, it was all good.
y'all, a little bit more about this book. For you guys that are here every day, you already know what it is. You can probably say this verbatim, but Daily Motivations for African American Success will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. In 365 short, powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro, author of the popular Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. Each motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans as Malcolm X, Marion Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year. What it teaches will last you a lifetime. And today we're going to go through one of those daily motivations and the following affirmation. So you will get today one of those lessons, one of those teachable lessons that will last you a lifetime. So thank you again for joining us, Mom. Anything else from you before I jump straight into the passage?
Nope, all good here.
All right, all right. So today is August the 26th. The title today is Raising Your Voice. Raising Your Voice. Peter C.B. Benoit, or Binoe, I don't know how you say that last name. Peter C.B. Binoe, first African American owner of a professional basketball team, said, "No life will ever be great until it is dedicated and disciplined. No life will ever be great until it is dedicated and disciplined." How do you unleash the power of self discipline? By habit. It's been said, sow an action and you will reap a habit. Sow a habit and you will reap a character. Sow a character and you will reap a destiny. In the simplest of terms, self discipline is taking control of your mind, your habits, and your emotions. Until you master self discipline, you will be unable to master anything else. The following story demonstrates the power of self discipline. He was abandoned along with his twin brother when he was 3 weeks old, classified un, uh, educable, mentally retarded, and placed in special education classes. His adoptive mother's friends advised her to send him back to the Department of Welfare. This may sound like a living nightmare to many, but not to Les Brown, one of America's most sought after motivational speakers. Brown's route to the top was uh, circuitous. Circuitous. I don't know how to say that, to say the least. This looks weird. After graduating from high school, he became an unpaid gopher at a Miami radio station, always intent on working his way up and living his dreams. He eventually became a disc jockey, a state representative, and now a television talk show host. At each step along the way, he was aided by his relentless self-discipline. Discipline was the only thing that kept me from failing, he attests. And it might be the difference in your life as well. Whenever life knocks you down, get back up and demand the best out of life. Each of us could live our dreams if we'd only master our habits. The disciplined person is not a spectator in life, but a participant in it. And our affirmation at the bottom of the passage says, "Today, I will use the power of self-discipline to lead me toward my goals." Again, today, I will use the power of self-discipline to lead me toward my goals. Over to you, Mom.
I'm going to go right back up to the top. How do you unleash the power of self-discipline. And it starts by saying, by habit, it's been said, sow an action and you will reap a habit. I'm going to go back to it, to the first line of this phrase or quote. It actually says you sow a thought, right? It begins in the way that we think. I think it's important. I believe it's important to make sure we include this because oftentimes we don't understand or put enough work into changing, first monitoring, right? The way that we think and where those thoughts come from. The root of the thinking, stinking thinking that we have, the root of it. What is the root? So in order to have better habits, we have to have better thoughts. We have to learn to take each thought captive. And when I say each, it gets to that point to where you have to, again, where is this coming from? Brandon, you said before that thoughts can come to us, can be whispered to us in such a way that we truly believe that they're our own. And if you hear that and it sounds strange, have you ever had a thought that make you go like, why am I feeling this way, thinking this way? Right? And have you ever just thought, you know what? I'm going to release it. I'm going to send it back where it went. That is what take each thought captive, or take every thought captive. And I would say measure it against your goals, your life, your belief, your faith, your God, who says, I come for joy, right? That you might have joy, peace, right? Abundant life, an abundant life. So I'll go back up to there. You sow a thought, right? And you can finish the rest of it yourself for the sake of time. I'm going to go here. In the simplest of terms, self-discipline is taking control of your mind, your habits. We talked a great deal about the mind yesterday. Our topic was, doesn't it blow your mind? So self-discipline is taking control of your mind, your habits, and your emotions. Again, that starts with taking control of your thoughts, being intentional. It says, until you master self-discipline, you will be unable to master anything else. And it tells us the story of Mr. Les Brown, who we all know. All right, before turning it over to Brandon, I want to give you a few characteristics of self-discipline: self-control, motivated, time management, learning to avoid distractions, learning to focus on your true goals, establishing a routine, holding yourself and others accountable. I'm going to say that again: holding yourself and others accountable, and then avoiding temptation. Right? I know who I am, I know whose I am, I know his will for my life, and I am motivated enough to have self-control, to establish a routine for my life and my day. And I'm going to say learning when to say yes and when to say no. Achieving my goals, which means I got to focus on my goal, right? I got to have a plan for my goal. Do we pay more attention to our distractions or to our goal? What we have written down, made it plain that we read every day, or when we feel like we're not progressing in that plan, right? So many of you have been here for a long time. Have you written anything down as it relates to your goals? Are you raising your voice? Are you raising your action? Raising the bar. This is talking to me today too, because I'm telling you, I will have a day planned and people, things, I'm telling you, will interrupt it. So this is talking to me about my time management. Saying, no, today's not a good day. because I already have something written down on my calendar for me to do that I need to do. Because when I don't, guess what? Then I'm the one burning the night out, playing catch up. And I guarantee you they're at home asleep,
Hmm.
resting. So I'll post this because there's more, and there's more into each one that it gives as far as you take one or two. Don't try to bite all of. Don't eat the whole sandwich at one time. Don't take one bite of a whole sandwich, a little bit at a time. Pick the one that will be most beneficial for you. But in picking that one, you got to go back out and read it. Go back out and read. How many of you don't pay any attention? Don't contemplate anymore after you leave this show. Do no more. It's kind of like posting on Facebook. We've gotten to a point we feel like if we post it, we did something about it. That's the action.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to live it. You got to do it. And lastly, Brandon, excuse me, the disciplined person is not a spectator in life, but a participant in it. That's self-explanatory. Truth be told, a lot of us are just watching, sitting back, complaining, doing nothing, waiting on somebody else. It's like the forgiveness thing, right? Drinking the poison and expecting somebody else to die. Not living your life and expecting someone to live it for you, and then get upset when they don't. Well, most people have trouble living their own lives and being self-disciplined in it. Right? So over to you, Brandon. That's about all I have today.
Thank you for those insights, Mom. I don't have much today because I think this is straightforward and pretty plain and simple. Um, I was looking at though why it's titled. I'm curious, what do you guys think about why this is titled "Raising Your Voice"? I'll ask everybody that. Why do you think that this is titled "Raising Your Voice"? Because that one has escaped me just a bit. What do you think, Mom?
Well, unleash the power of self-discipline. Again, I think it's not in the sense of raising your voice, but as I was mentioning, raising the bar, raising, and it could be the voice, but I took it as um, stepping up, you know, stepping up a bit in your life. I don't
Yeah,
know. No
I
life will
think
ever be great until it is dedicated and disciplined. Uh, yeah, I think it's about, again, just stepping up, raising your.
yeah, I think you're right about that. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
no. I'm good.
Um, the last line says the disciplined person is not a spectator, but in life, but a participant in it. So spectators are just there to watch, whereas a
Hmm.
participant kind of raises their voice,
Hmm.
raises their hand, raises an action in a way, um,
Engaged.
engaged in it, right? And maybe another way to look at it could be raising your inner voice, the strength of your inner voice, because
Hmm.
it says sow, by habit. How do you sow a habit is like you said first with that thought, right? So who's speaking to you? And if you raise your voice, you mentioned, Mom. Um, Sometimes that I'll remind people that what we call shaitan or satans, or some people call them demons, things like that, will whisper so fast into your left ear that you think that they are your own. You could think that they are your own thoughts, right?
Hmm.
So by taking, imagine waking up in your house and seeing a new piece of furniture, right? Or something in your house that wasn't there when you went to sleep. It should alarm you. It should be like, I didn't buy this.
Mm.
This isn't this isn't mine. But if you haven't paid attention, and if you haven't uh, taken note and account, or been present enough to see what all you have in your house, right, then you won't know the difference. You could be moving so fast to leave your house. You could be moving so fast to get ready to go somewhere or do something that you don't even notice the differences, right? Like I used to move the trash can. Remember that, Mom?
Yeah,
And still
yeah.
go back to that same spot where the trash can was, even knowing that you've moved the trash can. So imagine when people are just doing things on automation, right? So that's how quickly, because they've formed habits, right? Those habits become easy to them. But these were habits that were unintentional, that
Mhm.
didn't have purpose and direction and didn't focus and weren't, like I said, weren't intentional. They didn't make a decision to say, this is my habit, this is what I'm doing for this amount of time or indefinitely. It's just something that they fell into, if you would. You know what I'm saying? They fell into it and then it became a habit. The neural circuitry in their brain is now used to doing this every day. So, like for some people, for our everyday listeners, you're probably going to wake up at the same time every morning. Even if you miss this show, even if you're in the middle of nowhere and had no connection, your body will probably wake up at the same time that you would in order to catch this show. Likewise, if you wake up for prayer like me and my wife do, or like, 2.2 billion Muslims around the world do in the morning, hopefully that many of them do. But your body gets used to waking up at that hour. Even if you go to bed late and you're tired, you'll wake up and you'll just be like, oh, so you'll look around because we're creatures of habit. But that gives us an incredible power in the ability to form those habits, to shape those habits, um, like a cooling metal, right? That as it cools, it takes shape and form, um, and it can either be a sword, it could be, whatever you make of it, it could be, but make it a tool for your betterment and be intentional about it. Don't just let all of that molten metal cool without taking any type of intentional shape. So if you woke up in your house and you saw that there was something there that you didn't put there, that you didn't purchase, um, you should take note of it. So we should know our own voices, the voice in our head, so much so to where when something else comes in, we see it as foreign. Our bodies have something called leukocytes, or in layman's terms, white blood cells, right? That fight infection, that fight disease, that fight viruses and bacteria, um, anything that is a threat to the life or the homeostasis or the balance of your body. We have blood cells that automatically are deployed. What's the immune system in your mind? When a thought comes into your head, do you have a filter that says, wait a minute, that
Mhm.
thought does not serve me? That thought, if it came from me, it's not of it's if it came from me, then I don't want it. I want to purify myself of that. Or if it's not, or if it's something that's not of me, then I definitely want to get it out. I don't even want to. This isn't me. So we should have some type of immune system. Not only should we recognize it the same way that our white blood cells would, but we should fight it the same way that our white blood cells would. I think everything that happens physically has a spiritual counterpart or a spiritual balance, a metaphysical, I won't say just spiritual, but a metaphysical balance or counter. So whatever we see in the physical world, there's something that exists um, metaphysically that also affects our other realities, our other existences, right? So when you take considerations of thoughts that are not your own, if you were to accept those as if they were your own, they will change your state of being. They will change your habits. It'll change, of course, your thoughts, your habits, your character, right? And if you do take some accountability and you see, wait a minute, this is not a part of my inventory. This is not what I have fostered. These aren't seeds that I planted. These aren't habits that I sowed for my future to reap the benefits of my future. Then you can cast it out. And this is not something that you do once a year, at the new year, at the resolution time. This is not something you do on your birthday. This is not something you do even once a month. This is something that you do daily. If you ever seen a person with a garden, it takes daily or every other day at least of going out there and pulling up the weeds, because you just give it a week and those little buds of weeds will start to poke up. And you're like, I did not plant those. And when those weeds come up, they not only are an eyesore in many cases, meaning it's away from the organization that you've created, right? Where you placed the plants that you wanted to grow, but also it steals the life energy and the power away from the plants that you do want and that you did plant, that you did sow. So the water, the nutrients, even the sunlight now has to be shared and split and taken in many cases away from the plants that you do want. So now not only are you helping to grow, weeds and or in this case in metaphor, um, habits that are not your own or that don't serve you, but you're also diminishing the power of the thoughts that you did sow. And we do that with many different things. And I'll just speak to for a moment. I'll actually speak to both men and women. For men, I'm reminded of Proverbs 31:3, right? These are the wisdoms of Solomon, right? Proverbs 31:3, I believe you might look it up, Mom. It says, "Do not waste something like do not waste your power on women." This is to the men. Do not waste your strength on women, right? That is basically ruined many kings or has
Ooh. It
you see what
says,
I'm
you want me
saying?
to read it?
Yeah,
Give not thy strength unto women, nor
unto
thy
women,
ways to that
thy
which
figure.
destroyeth kings.
Mm-hmm.
It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor the princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law, and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. So that's a
Right.
good one to read. Maybe read Proverbs 31, men and women. 31,
Yeah,
all of it. Yeah.
men and women, and then so the temptation of women for men. It's as hard for a man not to be diverted by the beauty of women as it is for women not to be deluded in making themselves beautiful and adorning themselves, right? So, so to my sisters, don't be deluded in the adornments that you place on yourself or on your life, or in the comparison of one woman to another. You know what I mean? The competition and that the inward competition. Let us not be deluded in giving our strength to those things, right? But rather to habits that will benefit us, that
Hey,
will
Brandon,
truly benefit us.
I found some. Let me read this because it may be a bit better for Proverbs 31. It says the warning given here is not to give one's strength to women. In this context, that means not making desires or distractions a weakness or
Hmm.
expending excessive time and energy pursuing them. This
Right,
is not an idle threat by any means. The male's mother notes that this exact mistake has ruined kingships. Hmm.
right. Many a king. You like that one?
Hmm. Running after that tutu.
Huh?
I said, yep, running after the tutu.
Yeah,
And
or
notice
even just the
how often we oh boy, Brandon, you're gonna turn this into a long show. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Nope. I'm not
I'm
going
just Proverbs was something that I reviewed in college a lot, and that 31:3 just stuck me like, uh-oh. Because it's difficult as I'm sure as men, especially high functioning men, testosterone men that work out and are able bodied, vital men, right? It's easy to be motivated by the pursuit of women, right? But you cannot develop those habits by chasing everyone and everything. You just can't. You can't be diverted. So, like we see in the front quote, and I'm going to end this here. It says, "No life will ever be great until it is dedicated and disciplined." Dedicated and disciplined. Do not take your desires as your Lord. Do not take your desires as your physical desires as your Lord. Your immediate desires as your Lord. Right? I've said this before. The angels have intellect, but don't have desire. Animals have desire, but don't have a higher state of being of intellect. Whereas humans have both intellect and desire. They have the intellect, and if they allow their desire to overtake their intellect, then they are worse than the animals, than the beasts. But if they allow their intellect to overtake their desire, they can be better than the angels. Okay? Like Isa, peace be upon him, or Jesus, is noted of saying in the Bible, you can do even things greater than this, right? Things that we think are how could I do something like that? How could this mountain fall, before me, right? If you allow your intellect, your spiritual intellect and capacity to be greater and to overtake your desire, you are held in higher regard than the angels, all right? As a human being. So know your human potential, and with that power, sow the seeds that will benefit you, God willing, in this life, in the here and now, and in the next or the hereafter. And that's all I got for you.
So, Brandon, I have a few more things. I want to read this. It says, "My son, do not regard lightly the discipline of the Lord, nor be weary when reproved by him. For the Lord disciplines the one he loves and chastises every son whom he receives. It is for discipline that you have to endure. God is treating you as sons." And then I like that one. And then there's a few things here. And again, you guys, I will post this out probably right after the show, because if I don't, I won't. So, how can I apply dedication in my life? That word stood out to me. It says, until it is dedicated. That means dedicated until your life is dedicated. So that's like, okay, dedicated to what? It says to become dedicated to your goal. So your life, your goal, your God's will for your life. You first need a clear vision. We've talked about vision in previous days, right? Your vision. Next, break your goal into smaller, manageable tasks. Then consistency is key, because we're good sometimes at starting, but the patience, right? Are you consistent when it's not happening right away, when you don't feel it, when you don't see it, right? What is faith? Trusting God, having patience for his plan. Because while you're growing in patience, gosh, he's preparing you. That's his love for you, right? Surround yourself with positivity. Man, can't say that enough. Let these naysayers go. Negative people will bring, I'm telling, there's something, you know how that magnet pulls to the negative people, y'all, let them go. I don't care who they are. Let they asses go. And I'm saying it just like I want to say it. People who don't want to come, don't want to change, let them go. Keep the door open for when they want to come back. But if you going somewhere, California, they want you to drop them off in, I don't know, New York. You don't need to
Mm-hmm.
ride with me. I ain't going that way. Period. Embrace failure as part of the journey. You fall down, you have a plan for getting back up. Matter of fact, go back to the plan. Start right where you fell off at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stay adaptable. It says, lastly, take care of yourself.
Mm.
Take care of yourself. You know how many people feel guilty about taking care of themselves? I was one of them. Take
Mm.
care of yourself. What does it say? Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Come on now, y'all. Come on. I'm going to put these things out there. Contemplate on them today. All right. A spectator in your life, in every moment you live, listen at this. It means that in every moment you live, there is a part of you that's detached from yourself and views yourself disinterestedly as though it wasn't really a moment concerning you. I'm going to read that one again. It means that in every moment you live, it didn't say a few, there is a part of you that's detached from your true self, your true goals, right? And you view yourself disinterestedly as though it wasn't really a moment concerning you. Everything in your life concerns you. Every person you let in your life concerns you. Every thought that you don't take captive concerns you, right? Every minute you don't love yourself or you put people before you, right? Concerns you. I put this one out there so you guys contemplate on that even the more, all right? I want to end with this. Sow a thought, we reap in action. Sow in action, you reap habit. You sow a habit, you reap character. You sow character, you reap destiny. And as I mentioned, character it's an internal regulator, right? That guides you or allows you to make the right decision, the best choice for you, right? As it relates to your vision, your goals, the thing that you've written down. And Habakkuk says, write the vision and make it plain, right? For you, not for other people. Because when you do you, other people won't do you. They won't be allowed to do you. But if you ain't doing you, everything and everybody can do you. And they will do you over and over and over and over again. I woke up to it, and I'm going to say it. I woke up to a text and it kind of pissed me off. Like, really? You don't hear from folks until you already know in the tone of the text. You already know. Don't listen
Mm-hmm.
to the show. Don't call and say, hey, auntie, happy birthday. How you doing? Nothing. But you know in the middle of the night who to text and who to call. But
Let me
see, what
guess.
they
Want
don't
some
know,
money?
what they don't know is Tammy ain't the same Tammy no more. She ain't. She ain't caught up in people and what they think. She ain't no damn fool no more. Period. Period. So maybe that's what it's saying. Raise your voice. Speak up, speak out. Say what you mean what you say. And keep going. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Because I'm going to tell you what people, they will do you if you let them do you. And what's my phrase? And I'm going to end it with this. It is what it is. Let them do what it do, but don't let them or it do you, boo. Period. Stop being a fool in your own life to yourself and letting people make you a fool. Know what you want and where you're going. No. There are times in the Bible where, and I can't remember the exact one, Jesus like, I'm not worried about them. Let them be. Come on. I'm worried about living, going. Come on. So take your thoughts captive. Learn who you are so you could be true to you and be true to others. Because if you're lying to yourself, you'll lie to me. Right? And truth be told, most of us, as this passage says here, most of us are so detached from ourselves, right? We're the spectator in our lives. So if you're a spectator in your life, how can you be true to me? How can you be my man if you spectating in your life? How can I be your woman? And how can we become one when we showing up at the game and don't even know what game we at? right? We think we watching the Steelers in Dallas, and hey, we got the Redskins in New Orleans Saints. So we don't even know who to cheer for. We don't even know how we got there. Our tickets was for something else. Because you're a spectator in your life. And so you can't be true to anybody. Anybody. God can't even come up and use you because you'll block that. Be the center of your life. Right? Be the center of your life. I asked the question, what is the most important position in football? People want to say the quarterback, the running back. No, because it starts right there in the center. If that center is off, distracted, he think about that woman, his boo-boo thing, right? What we talked about, don't Brandon mentioned Proverbs 31. If he does not get that ball off perfectly to that quarterback, the game does not happen. But how often or how many of you know the name of the center of your favorite team? How often do you hear about what a great pitch off? No, it just talks about what the quarterback does when he gets the ball. Your life can't do nothing if it does not get the ball. If you don't bake the daily ingredients that God gives you every day. Right? So that's all I have, Brandon. Y'all be great today. Stop playing with yourself. Raise your voice. Say what
Raise
you
your
need.
voice.
Raise your voice.
All right,
It's,
y'all. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on the 208th day of the In This Season podcast. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Instagram, do us a huge favor. Seriously, guys, if you're watching this, even if it's not live and you're coming back and watching later, do us a huge favor and go over to the YouTube channel right now. Click the like button. First off, type in the letter N This Season podcast right up there. If y'all see that, up there? Boom. In This Season podcast on YouTube. Mom just put a link right there if you would like to copy and paste that or use that. But like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know what you think and share this with other people. Turn on those notifications so that you get notified every time that we go live. Thank y'all again for joining us this morning and allowing us to be part of your morning routine. We hope that you can get more people to this because God knows we all need it, myself included. I'm sure my mom would say the same thing. So today we're going to make let's review this really quick for today. Raising Your Voice is the title, and I quote from Peter C.B. Vinoe, the first African-American owner of a professional basketball team, said, "No life will ever be great until it is dedicated and disciplined." And our affirmation for today, this is what you repeat to yourself, okay? Really download this and save this as a seed that you are sowing yourself. So when you go into the house of your mind, you recognize this as a piece of furniture that you put there, right? Today, I will use the power of self-discipline to lead me toward my goals. Today, I will use the power of self-discipline to lead me toward my goals. Thank y'all so much for joining us, and we will see you next time on the In the Season podcast. Same time, same place tomorrow. Take care.